Hey guys, I am so excited that you're here for this episode. This one is a doozy. I talked about this a little bit on an Instagram live the other day, but we're going to go in deep. We're going to go in deep with this one. But before we do, as always, giving you a little update on what's going on in my world. So right now we're finishing up Unfuckwithable. I'm so excited about it. It's probably one of my favorite fucking programs that I have ever done, and I can't wait to do it again. But let's see, what do we have open? So the next new thing that's coming out is called Meditation22. And so what is Meditation22? Meditation22 is we are going to be meditating for 22 days, and it is $22 to get in. So basically $1 a day to get in, meditate with me. There are massive fucking prizes, like gift bags from me that I will I curate personally for each person that does win. We have the main thing that's going out, an iPad. We're going to give away an iPad, brand new iPad. We're going to give away courses and programs and things like this. And so it's really just one of those things where I love to meditate, and it is one of my major tools that I utilize for the growth of my business, for how to move through really tough shit that happens in life and business. It's really inevitable, and how to really just quantum leap. Like the meditation, being in the 5D consciousness is it's a game changer. When I no longer reside in the 4D or the 3D, three-dimensional world, the program, the matrix, the survival matrix, and I know that I can tap into that limitless potential, I move on this three-dimensional plane from the 5-dimensional consciousness. And so if that is something that you are vibing with and you're cool, and I might be able to win too, then we're going to learn a lot about why meditation is so important for artists, how we can really connect to our creativity, how we can really help any of the emotions that really hard and tough emotions, uncomfortable feelings that rise whenever we get into crunchy bits, with confrontation, with with opening up businesses, with opening up new shops, with doing something different, with walking with our fears. It's going to be an all-encompassing thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Only $22, and you're into winning so many prizes, and we'll get into all how you can win them and all that good stuff later. That's one thing. Number 2, InkSpired Academy is now open for early bird. Holy shit, we're back into InkSpired Academy at the end of August. So if you want to hop on a connection call, 30-minute connection call with me, if you are serious about getting in, right now early bird is at $2,555. But if you want a whole bundle deal where you get booked out, you get Unfuckwithable, you get InkSpired Academy all in one, you can pay the full price at $3,333, which is a steal considering that I think you get around anywhere from a $1,500 to $1,500 gift with that. You're saving $1,500 with that. So there's that. If you have been wanting to get into InkSpired Academy, it is now open for enrollment, and we are excited to have you. So if you're feeling the vibe, you can either DM me, click the link in the show notes, or head on to a connection call with me, and I'd love to speak with you, see if it's for you. And then our last thing is that I have a brand new mastermind coming out, a visionary mastermind. Now, if you don't know what a mastermind is, what a mastermind is basically being in a room with the best and your favorite artists, the most successful ones, all in one room where you can, connect back and forth. You go back and forth in your business, how we can do better. But what this one is about is if you are a tattoo artist who is ready to create passive income through education and through coaching and mentoring. So me, very experienced in holding 2 businesses at once. Actually 3 if you really think about tattoo shops. A tattoo shop is a business in and of itself, and your tattoo business, and then me holding a coaching business. So I hold 3 different businesses all at the same time. It does take some finesse, it takes some organization, it takes some delegation, it takes some leadership, And so if you are ready to create that type of tattoo empire where you're ready to shift gears and you're like, I have a successful tattoo business, or you're really wanting to create a successful tattoo business and a coaching business all at the same time, we as in me, myself, and I can help you with that. And that is something that I'm really excited to be opening up to. I am inviting in about 8 to 10 artists because I want to keep it small so that I can get to know your business inside and out, so I can help you really facilitate how to hold two different demographics, meaning the tattoo collector and the not the tattoo artist, but if you are in the tattoo industry and you want to do tattoo artists and help them in some capacity, we can do that. Or if it's for everybody, we can do that. I have a lot of healers in mind. We have a lot of people that are doing like ceremonial tattooing, and they do Reiki on the side and these kinds of things. Like, it could be anything. I teach tattoo business. I teach tattoo mindset, lifestyle, transformation. This is what I do. I'm in the tattoo industry. I help a lot of creative entrepreneurs, not just tattoo artists, but mostly my demographic is tattoo artists. So it's one of those things, if you're ready to you're like, I've got something to teach. And most of the time, the things that we teach are the things that have really saved our lives. And so my business has saved my life in some capacity, and I won't get into that here, but I will just say that, the reason why I teach it is because I never want people to ever feel that social media has to be really hard and their business has to be really hard, and, to really believe in themselves. And so that's what I teach. And so that's something that saved my life. And so if that's something that you feel a vibe for and you want to learn more, go ahead, head to the show notes, click the link, and we're going to hop on a call. That won't start until probably mid-September, around that time. So I'm giving people some leeway because it is a 4 to 6 month program where I will be basically in your business. We will be together in a group and we will be helping each other rise. So if you're interested, let us know. But otherwise, I hope you guys love this episode. And if you're feeling a vibe and you want to post this on the Instagrams and you want to give it some love, please do. And if you decide that you want to rate this and give it a 5 stars if that feels good to you, please screenshot it, repost it, or send me a DM. And I always send a little loving gift to those that do that because this just helps push the podcast out. So I love you guys so much, and hope you love this episode. Welcome back to another episode of The Mind of Reese. I have just gotten back from Belgium. I skipped last week for doing a podcast, so if you're missing out, you're getting one this week, so we're stoked to have you back. Just a little integration week for myself because, from travel, it gets so crazy. And but Belgium was amazing. I just, every time I go to these shows, and I just feel in awe of the things I get to do in my career and the really I don't know, it's just really exciting. And if you don't know Sampaguita J, I would totally go check her out. And she's amazing, amazing artist that resides out. I believe her shop is in the north of Spain. And she does warrior women, warrior badass large scale pieces. She's amazing and she's so humble and amazing. And so she invited me out into this show, and I went because of the fact that she even knew who I was. That was just awesome. And, going to Belgium was an amazing, amazing time. And it actually made me, made me realize, first, I'm fucking grateful. And I feel fucking stoked to have a network of artists where I've put myself out there enough and really held onto my truth, in this podcast. If this is your first time listening, if you listen to even the most previous podcasts, the episodes before this, you'll find that truth telling, transparency, vulnerability is a huge part of who I am. It's a value that I hold within my business values. One of them is, vulnerability, transparency is my superpower, and it is yours as well. I just truly believe that. And the more that we can meet our edges and come up against our edges and really be that trailblazer, that way shower of, me going first and me just saying the thing that might rock people's socks, or me just being absolutely honest with my audience when I feel that it is necessary and needed. For me as a mentor, a coach, as a tattoo artist who has a personal brand, as an entrepreneur who utilizes social media to grow my business, I look at transparency as the conversation that doesn't get talked about. It's what makes me unique. And so, social media is not just a tool to grow my business. It's also a tool for my healing. And a lot of my students will know this, and you'll know it too if you're here on the podcast and you must be a spiritual entrepreneur, because that's what we do. And so as a spiritual entrepreneur, there is a different way. We believe in co-collaborating with the universe. We believe that there's something more, and there's another force out there that helps guide us toward our soul's purpose. And so with that being said, I was invited to this thing. I was so grateful for it, but then it made me realize that this will be the last tattoo convention I will ever do that does not, if I'm not going to be doing a seminar, if I'm not going to be teaching. And the reason being is that I've done so many amazing seminars. I put myself out there so much throughout the last 12 years I've been in this industry, that my next new level, my 10X, is to hold myself to a level of standard that says, hey, this is the only time I'm going to be traveling. This is the only thing I'm going to be doing. And I am going to only be paid seminars. And so that is a new level of standard. That has to be an identity shift within me. And in order to make 10X leaps, to make quantum leaps, we have to shift our identity. I am no longer in the identity of I only do tattoo conventions because of X, Y, and Z. I am now here to impact more. And that means that I have to shed the parts of myself that no longer adhere to that next 10X level. From me in the beginning, 10X was going out to shows, knowing that I didn't have any appointments, knowing that I had no clients out there, and just winging it and networking and meeting artists and going to seminars and actually learning a lot myself. And now that I've done that, and that's my new normal, I'm looking for the next 10X leap, and that means an identity shift again. And so for you guys out there who are either maybe in the beginning of the game, or you're well into the game, or maybe you've traveled a lot and you're looking for that next thing, you're feeling like you're hitting a ceiling. This is where you get to ask yourself, okay, what is the next best thing? Why am I doing it? So we're creating the strategy, right? What and the why. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? And what's the next level standard? So for me, my standards are really, really high. And for myself and for my business. And the reason being is because I want to see quantum leaps in a fast amount of time. And in order to do that, we have to identity shift. And so I talk a lot about this in Unfuckwithable. It's a program that I'm currently in right now, and it's still going, but you can actually buy it on the back end and get all the recordings. We'll be teaching it again next year, or maybe even later on this year. It's just been such an incredible program through healing and identity shifting and energetics, and just amazing. So I talk a lot about this in that. And for me, this particular podcast it's going to be the reason why your business isn't working. It's because of the fact that I've started to notice that the level of standards that people hold for themselves and the values that they have within their business, their priorities are off. I'm noticing that if we can just shift where the priorities are, then we can shift the identity, and we can shift back to alignment and to 10Xing our business, to quantum leaping our business. And so for me, the way I look at it is that I ask a lot of my students, and I ask a lot of my clients, when I say clients, I mean my mentoring clients, my artists, my inner circle artists, my students, not tattoo clients. So I ask them, where is their focus, and asking yourself, where is your focus? Where is your focus? So there's 4 things essentially that most tattoo artists focus on, right? It's the money. Gotta make money, gotta pay the bills. It's the audience, it's the following, gotta somehow bring in the clients. It's the tattoo, we gotta think about the tattoo, gotta think about those tattoos. And it's the client transformation, which a lot of times that one doesn't even get thought of. But most of the time, the way I look at client transformation, it's like the client experience, the client transformation, the end product of the tattoo. It's the healed tattoo. It's like it's all of it. It literally encompasses all of those things. So I just call it the client transformation or client experience. So there's 4 things that we literally focus on, consciously or unconsciously. The tattoo artist, this is what we focus on. And if you notice, the order I put it in is the order that most focus, that's the order of priority. The money, the following, the tattoo, and then the client transformation. And so, in the beginning when we first started doing this, we always were like, oh my gosh, we can make money making art, and that's so cool. But we did focus a lot on the tattooing because we weren't good at it. We had to figure out how to get good at it so people would actually want to get tattooed by us, right? So somewhere along the way, especially with social media and societal conditioning and everybody showing you like all the bright lights and like, oh my gosh, look how amazing this person is, or look at what this person's doing. We get lost in the sauce of what success looks like for us. And we start to adhere to what success looks like for them. And it's what's really shitty is that oftentimes the things that we get shown are people that are like getting a lot of likes and follows. Like the things that we see, especially on our Explorer page, on the Explorer page, they're mostly showing you things that have like thousands and thousands of likes and hundreds of comments. And they're, and we're like wondering like, ooh, how do we do that? And we're thinking that the way that we got to create our content is like that. But when really, let's look at the priority. It's like, okay, the content it doesn't matter what the content looks like. Just because it's done with a really nice camera and it looks super cinematic and all of these things, if the product, the tattoo, the product is not that good, it's mediocre, I don't care how many likes and follows you get for a mediocre tattoo, it's going to be mediocre clients, you're going to get mediocre money, you're going to have mediocre product. And of course, the client experience, you might just be one and done. And so when I think about all of the most amazing tattooers out there that just show tattoo photos, right? They're just showing tattoo photos right now. And the reason is that they focus so heavily on the artwork. They focus so heavily on the fucking product. Yes, their product is super duper good. It's so good that they only have to show a tattoo online and nothing else. Now, as a business mentor who has mentored some of the really fucking talented tattooers who only post tattoo photos, as of marketing psychology as of today, and as a consumer, clients who consume content, they are now realizing that we actually get to know people through we look at the television shows like Ink Master and Tattoo Nightmares and all of these things, and we start to get to know personalities, and we're like, wow, I really get to have everything. I don't have to just have really good art. I can have someone I actually like, and I can get really good art. And so what we're noticing is that, yeah, there's a lot of really amazing tattooers out there. And sometimes the people that just post tattoo photos are the ones that they're the untouchables. They're the ideal. They're the kind of people that people are like, I want to go and get tattooed by this person, but I might not seek it out because it doesn't seem like I am capable of receiving this transformation. Almost like they don't deserve it. And so the reason why that I say your truth is your superpower, and by showing up online and showing who you are, the uniqueness of who you are, allows people to see that you're human and that they are human too. And so when we can put those together and create an emotional connection, we create a relationship. And our entire business is based off of relationships. If we don't have relationships, we don't have a business, period. And this means not only with clients, but with other artists, with, networking involves all of this stuff. Community is huge. Whenever I look at my community within entrepreneurship, I have a lot of, I'm in a mastermind. What is a mastermind? A mastermind is a group of women who all have a like-minded goal, really. We're all trying to elevate in our, mentoring work. We're all coaches in the industry. We are all trying to build a level of excellency in our work so that people, want to, we can actually create transformation for them. For our ideal client, we want to invite people in. We want to understand how to market. We want to get better at this stuff. I surround my people with multimillionaires. I surround myself with multimillionaires because that's what I desire. I desire that level of excellency. I desire that level of mastery. I desire that level of growth. And so when I desire that, I want to put myself in rooms with people that normalize that thing. Now, I also have groups of people where I love being around spiritual artists. I want to be around other people that talk about spirituality. I want to be around other people that really like hold the tattoo industry very seriously. Like I look at tattooing as a transformative medicine. It's an experience that we get to share and co-collaborate with our client. And when I look at it like that, those are the people that I end up attracting in, my clients, my actual tattoo collectors. And so when we can get transparent with these things, we offer a bridge to getting to know us better. And then this offers the people out there. It's not that they don't think that you're amazing at what you do because you post a lot of tattoo photos. Of course, they watch you, but they just don't know if it's available to them. Like, oh, can I actually do this? Can I actually afford this? Most people are just voyeurs. You have a lot of following, and it's like some people are like, well, I don't understand why I'm not getting more, bookings if I have X amount of following. And it's because just because you have a following doesn't mean that you're able to, move people, like basically story tell so well that you're actually leading them into your inbox. Like for me, I know chase, right? We don't chase, we attract. So what we're doing is we're creating story to invite people in. Now I talk a lot about launching and how we move people off the fence and into the inbox through in Booked Out. So I talk a lot about that, and that's one of my programs about launching and how we can launch and how we could do it better and like just make this more easeful and all that kind of stuff. So this is what I'm talking about. And so the reason is that when I look at, and we're going to get back to the priority aspect of it, but when I look at this, it's like, okay, so we have to understand marketing psychology. We have to understand who we are. We have to understand who we are when we're doing a thing. And we have to really prioritize the product. We have to prioritize the product, the tattoo. So when we're thinking about the money, our focus is only on the money, and the focus is only on building an audience, thinking that like by building an audience, we're getting clients. It's actually not the case. And you're actually going to be working really, really hard to make that kind of money. Now, if I'm going to focus on the product, you're a tattoo artist. What is the first word in that identity? Tattoo. But somewhere along the lines, people forgot that like tattooing is really fucking important. You can't make money without the tattoo. I mean, you can make money doing mediocre tattoos. You can make money doing shit tattoos. I've seen it. I know it. I actually know a couple of people that make pretty good money as like it's like their hobby tattooing. I mean, do you, boo-boo? For me, the only thing I don't have a problem with people making tattooing their hobby, even though I'm a lifer. It did rub me the wrong way, I think, a few years ago, but I realized that like that's so close-minded, and I want tattooing should be available to everybody. But my only thing is that if you're going to tattoo, do it right. Take the time to invest in your craft. What are your resources? Your resources are money, time, attention, and energy. Your attention is the most finite resource, more than time. Why is it more valuable than time? Why is it more finite than time? Is because where your attention goes, energy flows. And if your attention is only on the money, then your attention is not on the product, is not on getting better at tattooing. Every day, your tattoo should be better than the day before. If that is not your level of standard, you need to reprioritize what's going on, because then you're not going to make the level of money that you're looking to make, period. You're like, cool, I'm at like a good content place. But why? Like, who wants to stay content? That's so boring. For me, it's like, I don't want to be stuck inside of a ceiling. I want to consistently grow. Now, if I'm just content with it, if I'm content with my work, is it really my soul's calling anymore? Is it something that's super lighting me up? I found that, 3 years ago, tattooing wasn't super lighting me up. Actually, this was 5 years ago when I actually quit tattooing. And I figured it was like, this is not lighting me the fuck up anymore. And I really would like to figure out what it is. And so I was like, let me just continue to get better at my artwork. Let me see, maybe I just need to switch my styles. And that's when I did it. I switched. I was like, I said to everybody, I was like, this is the level of standard. This is how I 10X. I said I was only going to do realistic color or black and gray opaque style tattooing. And I'm only going to focus on the color way of techniques. So the color technique. So black and gray opaque is a color technique. The reason why I say that is because it's the same technique as I would utilize for color. It is not black and gray diluted ink. It's a different black and gray. The reason is I decided that is because I wanted to get so good at the color style of technicalities so that every time I entered in a tattoo, whether it be in color or black and gray, it was going to be fucking gangster. I didn't have to switch gears in my mind by going from black and gray diluted to color technique. And for those of you that know, you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to the difference of that. So I stuck only to this. And when people didn't want that, then I did not book them. I was very clear. And so that was me holding my standard. Yes, was it hard in the beginning? Of course, it's always hard in the beginning when you shift your identity and you go 10x, because it takes time for the material world to catch up. So when we declare it and then we make the move, then we're literally sending a little declaration off to the universe saying, I am this and this is what I want. And the universe will say, okay, bet. Let's see it if it's actually what you want. Will you hold to this level of standard until you get it? And that normally is that waiting period on the in-between where most people can't hold it. They're like, oh, but I have to make money and I have to do this. I got to do this and got to do that. And it's like, I never tell anybody to do things that don't, that don't have a regular, like they can't regulate around their nervous system, right? Like I'm not going to go say spend $10,000 you don't have. No, I'm going to say like, it really depends on who you are. It's not about what you have or what you want. You only attract what you are, not what you want. Okay? You're attract whatever you want to attract. The clients that pay you the X amount of dollars, the type of impact you want to make, the type of tattoos you want to do, the style that you have, whatever it is, that is up to you. You have to shift your identity to being like, I say no to everything else that does not belong in this filter. My filter is this, and this. These are my values. This is the level of standard of those values in my business. That's what I adhere to. Anything less is gone. And the reason why we do that, because then now we're no longer just busy work. We're productive and we're doing less, but gaining more, so much more growth, excellency, mastering the thing that we're doing. And then obviously with those things that are happening, because those are my values, it's growth, mastery, excellency, simplifying things, like to make things simple, bringing massive value to my clients and to the world. Like these are like my values. These are the values that I write down. These are the values of my business. Anybody that even comes close to me adheres to these values. And then those values keep me very much in line. They keep me in line and on time of everything else that I do within my business. So if does not adhere to those things, then it's out. So I say we switch our priorities. Okay? So if your priorities as money, then the audience is growing, you're following, and then, the tattoos and then the client transformation, the priority should be, and I know that this might sound redundant or this might sound like duh, but really be honest with yourself and ask yourself, is your priority the tattoo? Or is your priority just making the money after the tattoo? And is your priority just getting the photo after the tattoo? Are you actually in the tattoo? Are you actually watching and paying attention and being present with every single line? Are you actually being intentional with every little color you choose or the way you move your machine or how fast you're moving machine? I intentionally slowed my machine down to 6.0 to slow my ass down when I do my tattoos. And you know what? I actually get it done faster, but better. I intentionally slowed my machine down. I don't speed it. I used to work at 7.5 and then, even with my line work, I will go up to like a 7.58, of course. But like when it comes to packing, I do not run my machine high. And the only reason why I did that, is because, I took a seminar with my friend Pooch, a master at color and gradation. And so I took that and he said, slow your shit down. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to slow down. I want to go faster. I want to get things done. No, if I want to be, if my value is mastery and excellency, then I better fucking step up to the plate and hold myself to the standard that I say that my values are, because my values are only my values if they are embodied. They are not values if I just say it out loud and say, oh, like, look at me, I'm so cool. If I'm in performance mode and I'm just saying that these are my values because I want people to think that I'm like care so much, but when in actuality, that's not my values, then you guys need to shift. This is the shift for you. This is tough love for you, because there are a lot of artists out there that will come to me for InkSpired Academy, and I can tell you 100% that I can absolutely help you shift your business, and I can absolutely, like, guaranteed to help you, create a level of foundation that is sustainable and scalable within your business. But the thing is that if your only focus is like, oh, but I just want to get more clients, it's like, let me take a step back and look at my artwork. If the product is mediocre, I'm going to tell you right now that I can help you with your level of marketing and I can help you get more clients. But until you decide, until you declare, until you say right now, my value is growth and excellency. If I want growth in my audience and impact, if I want growth in the clients that I receive in my bookings, then I need to also pay attention to the product that I'm putting out there. If my product is mediocre, everything you're going to perpetuate in your life is going to be fucking mediocre, period. And so I want you to reprioritize. It ain't about the social medias. Social media is very, very helpful. And if you could do it alongside the tattooing, which you can. But I want to tell you, it is hard. It's hard at the beginning. I always look at it like this. It's like a fucking snowball. You're creating a snowball. And as you're creating the snowball, you got to pack it. You got to collect all the snow. You got to make sure it's round enough. And then you start moving it and it starts to collect more snow and it starts to build momentum. At the beginning, there's always a holy hustle that needs to be had. And there's always going to be a holy hustle when you have another 10x sleep, whenever you're like, my values are excellency, mastery, growth, simplicity, and fucking value. If those are my fucking values, if those are the things that I'm adhering to myself every single day, and I am challenging myself every single day, because your standards, so you have your values and your standards are what help you stick to that level of improvement and growth every day. All you have to do is just ask yourself the really easy question of like, am I adhering to my values today? No? Well, then let's get back to the drawing board. Am I adhering? In my tattoo, am I paying attention to every little thing? I'm not just trying to get to the end result of the tattoo so I can make that money and I can post the tattoo so that I can get more clients. See, that's the thing, is that it's like that, those three priorities, it's like, no, we care about the tattoo. Do you? Ask yourself the honest question and be radically honest with yourself. Awareness is the first step, okay? Awareness of who you are is going to shatter all of the illusion and self-deception. And when you can stop self-deceiving, and when you stop deceiving yourself, then you can actually make moves in the direction towards your soul's purpose. And you know what? You get to be brave, and you build that bravery, and you become courageous, and you become fucking confident faster. I promise. Like, it's funny because when we think about these things, people are like, oh, it's just going to take forever. I need the money now. And it's like, you know what? What's forever to you? Because I'm pretty sure there are people that have been tattooing for 20 years and still trying to figure out how to market, and still trying to figure out how to stop the mediocre tattooing, and are stuck in that, like, oh, like that hustle, that like sleep when I'm dead, my back aches, I only tattoo 20 hours a day. Now, I say whatever floats your boat, but for me, that does not sound like a good time. And I've been in that place. I've been in that 2x place where it's like, how much money can I make? How many more clients can I get? The tattoo's okay, but like I'll focus on the tattoo third. And then client transformation is making sure my client feels good. Because once they're in the chair, they're already in the chair. They're already paying me. So it's like, I don't care about them. I need more people. And that's the level of thinking. Now, you might not consciously be saying it like that, but you're unconsciously doing it. Because if your tattoos aren't getting any better than yesterday's tattoo, there is a problem. Your product is your first fucking priority. And then second is your client transformation. Because I tell you right now, your clients will follow you through the evolution of your tattooing forever. They will. I have my very first tattoo client, and I talk about this one a lot. Very first tattoo that de-virginized me, that popped my sweet little Reese cherry for tattooing. His whole family still comes to me, and his whole family still will pay my prices as they have grown since day one, day one of 12 years ago. Why? It's because of the way they feel about me. It's not just the tattoos that I do. I don't even believe that I'm even close to being a fucking, the most amazing tattoo artist. And that's just because I have a really high standard. I can do better. I always look at my tattoos and I look at them objectively, and I always give myself like, fuck yeah, like that was a really great tattoo. Good job. But here are the things we're going to focus on tomorrow. This is what we're going to do differently. I am constantly learning because my values are growth, excellency, and mastery. And you can do them all at the same time. But the priority is the product, then the client transformation. What's the experience you're offering your client? Those people, that relationship you create, they're going to be the ones that follow you to the end. My clients, before I even open my books, I have a whole list of people that I send an email out early and I'm like, hey guys, I'm about to open my books, but before I do you want in? And it's because they ask me. I ask them, I'm like, they've done a really big piece with me at one time, and they're like, no, put me on the list to ask every time you open your books. And I was like, okay. So my assistant, we have a whole list that we ask right beforehand. And you know what? It ends up being those people that take up most of my bookings. And then I fill the rest in with the newbies, with the new people. And so I'm already doing a private launch in the back end. Not even there's nobody that knows. This list is exclusive, and it keeps the exclusivity. And even because I have them as that exclusive, it's because not only do I love them, I'm like, no, dude, I really love hanging out with you. You are so fun. You make me laugh. You also teach me a lot. You push me to my boundaries. You give me a lot of creative freedom. You push me in that creative freedom. Like, I have clients out there that are like, you could do better in that design. And I'm like, fuck, okay, fine, bet, let's do it, And it's because they know they can talk to me like that, and I know the reason why they're doing it is because I tell them who I am and what I value, and they're like, no, you got this, Reese. Like, it's there, it's almost there, but I know you got another one in you, and it's always that next one that's like, fuck yeah, that level. Some of them are just so good that they're just like, of course, like most of my tattoo clients, they just show up and they're like, whole leg sleeve, perfect, done, easy. And so it's because they know that my values are excellency, and I want to outdo everything that I do. I want to outdo it. And so every tattoo design I outdo. I learn more about how to design my artwork, and even better now that AI is out. Oh my God. Like, I know there's such a controversy in this industry, but I'm telling you right now, there are so many people that have been copying tattoos since Pinterest, and a lot of people, if you can't get good at just coming up with an idea through words in your brain, you're not going to be able to tell AI what you actually want. And so I am so good at research. And so when I found out about AI, in order to create some of the most badass fucking digital tattoo designs when it comes to like women warriors, I know how to tell this. And I'm like, this has saved me a level of time. And so this makes my hourly rate go up. Because now I'm not spending 12 hours on a design, which I totally would. Like, that doesn't bother me. I start designing for tattoos about a week and a half to a week prior to the appointment, because I want to make sure that it's like that good, and I'll spend a few hours every night on it. And so we got to look at it from that perspective. But I also want to say about the AI thing, I don't care how well you can, create a design through AI. It's still artwork if you can tattoo it. If you can't tattoo the thing you just got designed, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about the design. Everybody cares about the end product, what you put on the body. If it doesn't look like the thing that you asked to create through AI because it's so outlandish and crazy and awesome, then yeah, then don't do it. But the thing is that for me, I love AI because I'm like, dang, sometimes because in my head, I don't know how. I don't have the abilities yet to create them via digitally on the iPad or on the computer. I started learning how to create like faces and stuff like this, and this is such a sidetrack, but I started learning how to paint my own faces, and I was doing that for a little while, but it was taking me 8 hours to do that. And it was like cool, that's awesome, Reese. Now I can create those stickers and I won't get in trouble for, utilizing this because it's a fully my own design. But at the end of the day, that 8 hours lowers my hourly rate. So I'm taking, my hourly rate and cutting it up into, I'm tattooing for 6 hours, I'm tattooing for 12 hours, and then plus 8, divide that by my hourly rate or by how much I've just made, it's going to lower my hourly rate. So if there is another tool out there, such as AI, that's going to help me alleviate that tattoo design time, where I won't have, let me not make fun of this poor situation, but let me all at the same time, where I'm not giving people a pencil drawing that they spent $1,600 for a fox design. Like, I'm going to give you I give all of my clients fully rendered tattoo designs, always, every single time. I don't do the whole, but like, this is what we're going to do here and just imagine this. No, I'm a full sender because I need that. I need a fully rendered thing because that's my level of excellency. That's my standard. I need a fully rendered, beautiful fucking image so that I don't have to really think about what I'm going to shift and change and morph. I do during the tattoo, but I don't want to do that all that much because I want to focus on the technicality of the tattooing, of how well and how many less times I'm swiping the skin with the needle so that it heals so juicy and buttery. And that's like the whole point. So if there are tools out there that are going to help you do your work, fuck what everybody says. Like, I don't care. Tattoo artist is going to tell me that I'm not an artist anymore because I'm cheating, quote unquote. I just find that ridiculous. Everybody does Pinterest. Everybody utilizes the same Google images over and over and over again. At least this way, we're not utilizing the same things over and over and over again. And honestly, if you can't tattoo it, then, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So there's my take on AI. So this is just adhering to the level of standard that I hold for myself and to also alleviate my time management. I want more of my time back and I want to make more money while I'm doing it. So in order to do that, I got to focus on the product, right? The product doesn't only mean the tattoo. It actually means the design, especially since I'm a realistic artist. And so I want to make sure that it's like a dope design and I do a fully rendered design. Why? Because that's my value. That's the level of standard that I hold to myself. So it's going to take me some fucking time. So if I'm going to alleviate time from that, that's 10x fucking thinking. That's 10x doing. So I'm focused on the product. I'm focused on the client transformation because these relationships are the ones that stick with me forever. They're the ones that fill up 60% of my spaces. I make, like 15, I would say anywhere from like 5 to 10, maybe even sometimes 15 grand from these people in a day because they're like, yep, we'll book out these days. They'll book out like 4 or 5 days, just so that they make sure that they're consistently getting tattooed and getting things done, but that's because I have a high level caliber of client. Why? Because my clients know my values. They can see my values through the social media, which is the audience, which is your next priority. Yes, they feel my values. Why? Because they see the tattoo. They see I'm excellent at tattooing, but then they see how I see the world as well. My values of this world. I care about growth, not only in my work, but in me as a person. Transparency is my superpower. So I take people on the ride. I talk a lot about business. I talk a lot about spirituality. I talk a lot about like identity shifting and energetics and strategy. These are the 3 main things that I always talk about because I know that these are the 3 main things that will get you to sustainable, quality, scalable business. And so when I talk about this, they're like, wow, even though this doesn't adhere to me, the fact that she's so fucking passionate about not only her tattoo work, but about helping people, I want to be in that vibe. I want to be in that energy. So what happens? My client grows and I'm calling in the luxury buyer within the person. I'm calling in the person that person in them that believes that like, okay, let me put it to you this way. I had a client yesterday? 2 days ago. And I did a portrait of her dog. And this is their second portrait I'd done on her dog. And she said to me, she goes, I would rather have to save up money to get tattooed once a year by you than to be able to get tattooed several times a year by someone else. My heart. You know, people will find a fucking way to afford you when they find an emotional connection to you. I also have a lot of really big clients, ones like from TaylorMade that just make a fuck ton of money, and you know, like TaylorMade Golf, you know, we have all these other, I have a lot of people that come, doctors, whatever, it doesn't even fucking matter. It's just like these people are willing and they don't care. Like even this woman who, you know, a teacher and doesn't have like a large salary, she still tips me because of how I've made her feel. That's the client experience. But she sees my values. She sees how much I care via the online. That's what got her. So I care about the tattoo. She obviously saw my puppy portraits and she's like, that's the girl I want to do my tattoo because I love my fucking dogs so much. Okay. Then I care about the client experience. She got the client experience. She saves for a year or two. I hadn't seen her for 2 years. She saved for 2 years to come get tattooed. But then when the way she found me was because I cared so much, and the way I care and the way I share my voice and the way I am online, I'm very transparent, and a lot of tattoo artists hate that about me. I get so much hate mail. They're like, shut up. You're just a hot girl with no talent. You're just this. You're the. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys. If only they focused on their tattooing. I didn't focus on social media where most people put their time and attention on. They're utilizing their finite resources to not only put their attention on me, but to also spew their own poison that they're swallowing at me. They're literally drinking the poison that they want to, because they want to poison me with negative comments, and they're drinking their own poison. And what happens? Their time and energy and attention is all stuck on hating, and then their tattooing stays at best mediocre. I have a lot of compassion for people. Like I just have so much, like I can't. I'm just like, that's so beyond me. Like I'm like, bro, do you know how much time, energy, and attention and money? Literally, you're investing money in me when you spend time commenting negativity on people. When you spend time on social media, I spend such little time on social media. I create the thing. I create as much value as possible. I make it as simple as possible, especially if it's like, especially if I'm creating simplicity for you guys out here, you guys that are like really trying to grow your business. I'm making sure it's excellent. It's of quality. It's bringing growth. It's giving you a micro transformation. Anytime I show up on the online space, that's all I care about. Other than that, I'm there to like root my people on. Like I'm there, I'm going to go in my feed. My feed consists of mostly either my students because of the artists that invested their money and time and attention and energy into me. And so I'm going to invest money, time, attention into them. And I want to root them on, and I want to see what they're doing and then bring it back if we're actually in classes together. Like I fucking care that much. I don't give a shit about an Explorer page. I don't give a shit about anything else going on there. I don't spend any time on there. I am very intentional with every single thing that I do. That is my value. That is a value for me. I refuse. And you know what? It saves me so much time. It saves me so much heartache from not comparing myself or going down the black hole of funny memes and stuff. And sometimes that's fun, and I'm not hating on that. Like I love that. My assistant is obsessed with funny shit, and she always shows me and sends me the fun stuff, and I think it's hilarious, you know, and keeps me in the know with all the hip kids are doing these days. But I just have a different, like my life is just different. The way I want to see my life, the way I want to leave my legacy, like the way I want to leave this planet, I want to leave a planet better than when I arrived. And the only way I know how to do that is through my values and through my level of standards. And so I focus on the tattoo, I focus on the product, we focus on the client transformation, then we focus on the audience, the impact, the community growth. And then we focus on the fucking money. And that just comes. What's funny about that, it just comes. Because when I hold myself to that level of standard, and I hold it, I stay in my power. Staying power is harder than making the jump. People are always like, I'm going to make that leap. I made that leap. But most people back out. They don't put both feet in. They back the fuck out. They don't know how to stay. They don't have staying power because they don't have a mastery around their emotions. They don't have emotional intelligence to hold themselves when shit gets scary. That's a thing I teach in Unfuck with Wolf. That's a thing I teach my students because I care. That's the hardest part. Taking the leap is not hard. It's staying. It's staying. It's holding the vision. It's holding the vision of the future that does not exist yet. It's saying, I'm in, and I know that I'm going to turn this shit into motherfucking gold. And I know that it's hard right now, and I know that I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm going to stay because I know this is my right path. And guess what? The money will come so much faster than you ever expected. I mean, I would never have expected that I can make over $500,000 in the tattoo industry. I never expected that I can make, I make $22,000 to $24,000 a month just tattooing alone 3 days a week. Anywhere from like 17 to 22. Just depending on the month. Just depending how much I'm traveling to. And so it's like, what? I was just happy making $3,000 a month, at tattooing. I remember when I was just like, all I need to do is make $3,000 a month and I could pay all my bills and all this stuff. And then I kept 10xing. I kept extending. I kept increasing my standards. I kept saying no to everything else that wasn't a 10x move. I kept meeting my edges. I kept walking with my fear. If I am not afraid, I am not growing. So where can I meet my edges today? It doesn't matter where. A lot of times it has to do with social media with people. And that's the reason why I teach social media so heavily in InkSpired Academy, is because artists want to be themselves, but they're so afraid of what everybody else is going to say. So who are they posting for? They're posting for their homies. They're posting for their colleagues, the tattoo artists in their shop, because they don't want to be made fun of. So the way that they post is for the other artists around them, but your ideal client's not your artist. Your ideal client is the tattoo collector. And if I'm not talking to them specifically, then of course I'm not growing my business. And then if my focus is only on what are people thinking of me, where energy goes, where attention goes, energy goes, right? Where attention goes, energy flows, like however you want to say it. So it's like when we can understand what our resources are, right? Time, money, attention, energy. What our values are. What are your values? Ask yourself this question. What are your standards for every day of those values? And reprioritizing from the product, the client transformation, the community growth, and then the money will just come. This means when you prioritize this way, your attraction, your magnetism will just vibrate on a frequency that will magnetize people to you, period. It is not hard. It's funny because I look at it and I'm like, wow, I've built this business and I had to learn, I had to fumble and do all of these things and spend lots and lots. I invested a lot of money and I still continue to invest thousands and thousands, tens and tens of thousands. I think we are at a good 50 grand as of middle of this year invested into my business, into mentoring, into business coaching, into, everything. So I have business mentors. I have 2 of them. I have spiritual counselors, therapists. I also invest in my health. So it's like my mental health, my business growth, tattoo seminars I've invested into, it's just like all of these like things that we invest into ourselves. And it's one of the most important things you could ever do, but you can invest and pay little attention when you're there. And then, because it's the only thing is that like, I'll have people come into my programs and they'll be so excited at the beginning, but they don't have staying power to stay till the end. And then they wonder why it doesn't work. They're like, oh, well, it's not working for me. But thankfully, it does take time. And so they do get it for life. And when it comes to InkSpired Academy, they do get that for life. And so it's like they try again. And I feel like that's always really, really amazing. Lately, as the program has gotten, as I've revamped the program probably like 5 times now, it's gotten to the point where people, God, it like warms my heart so much when I see people just full sending it and seeing that transformation. That is like my whole goal in life, is to see each and every person that is listening to this podcast. And, you know, you don't have to go into any of my programs. It's not even a thing. Like, you could totally learn. And I give so much value in these podcasts and in my lives on Instagram and all of my Instagram. You know, you can literally go far with just all of the free stuff on these two platforms. But when it comes to like investing, it's like a different level of energy that shifts within you, because you've all of a sudden put money down. You've all of a sudden decided like that level of energy is worth it, and you're going to do something about it. Like, a lot of times people will hear all of this stuff and they'll say good and fine, but yet, you know, they'll go back to doing the same old things over and over again. And it's just, you know, sometimes we need to hear it over and over and over again, and then one day it's just going to hit us in a different way, and we're going to be like, this is the time, and this is my moment, and this is what I'm going to do. You know, and it takes time for all of us. For me, it took me like 7 years. So I don't want it to take that long for you. I'd prefer it, honestly. Like, when I think about it, when I think about my, you know, my apprentices, you know, they did all the things that I wished I could have done in 2 or 3 years. They did it in 2 or 3 years when it took me a good like 5-7 years to do what they were doing and to really understand it. And so I feel proud to have been a part of that, and I feel proud at guiding them. You know, now these days it's so funny because I'm like, I could have done it better. I could have guided them better. I could have been a better mentor. But like, that's just my level of excellency. And I never get myself down about that. I never shame myself for what I've done. It's my wisdom. My past is my wisdom, and I utilize it as such. But it's one of those things where like, I care very, very much. And so I hope that this feels super duper supportive for you guys, and that this teaches you a lot, it simplifies the way that we're looking at what our priorities are, what we need to be focusing on. This will help you build a foundation for a really sustainable and scalable tattoo business. So I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week.